Most people get this wrong in one of two ways. They either normalize a truly toxic workplace for years, or they label normal stress and disagreement as toxic and burn good opportunities. In this video, you'll get a clean diagnostic, how to spot real toxicity patterns, how to tell if you're magnifying minor issues, a self-assessment checklist with scoring, and a practical escape plan that protects your reputation, income, and mental energy. This is not therapy content. This is decision-making content. A workplace isn't toxic because a manager gave tough feedback, because deadlines exist, because someone disagreed with you, or because you had one bad week. A workplace becomes toxic when harmful patterns repeat and the system punishes truth while rewarding fear, blame, or silence. Here's the definition you'll use today. A toxic environment is repeated behavior plus a power imbalance plus consequences for speaking up. 3 elements. It repeats, it's tied to hierarchy or gatekeeping, and it damages your safety, psychological, professional, or ethical. If all 3 are present, you're not too sensitive. You're in a system problem. Now, let's map toxicity versus friction. First, normal workplace friction, healthy discomfort. Looks like clear performance expectations, direct feedback with specific examples, accountability that applies to everyone, conflict that can be resolved with conversation, decisions that may be imperfect but are explainable, and mistakes analyzed rather than weaponized. The key signal is this: problems lead to learning, not fear. Second, toxic workplace patterns, harmful systems, look like ambiguous expectations with punishment for missing them, public shaming or sarcasm disguised as high standards, blame culture where scapegoats replace root cause analysis, moving goalposts, information hoarding and political traps, retaliation for raising issues, and ethical pressure to falsify status, hide defects, or mislead stakeholders. The key signal is this: problems lead to threat, not improvement. Third, a category many people confuse for toxicity. Not toxic, but misfit. Sometimes it's mismatch. Role mismatch, where you're doing work you don't value. Skill mismatch, where you're underprepared or unsupported. Culture mismatch, like speed versus precision, or autonomy versus structure. Or life mismatch, like burnout, caregiving stress, health issues, or sleep debt. Misfit hurts, but it isn't malicious. Toxicity harms by design or by tolerated behavior. Now use these 12 red flags as pattern detectors. One red flag isn't enough. Clusters matter. Fear-based leadership means you comply to avoid consequences, not because it makes sense. Retaliation or subtle punishment for speaking up means you're excluded, rated down, denied opportunities, or labeled difficult. Blame culture turns postmortems into witch hunts and trains people to protect themselves instead of outcomes. Moving goalposts means success criteria changes after delivery, so you can't win. Gaslighting and reality distortion means they deny agreements, rewrite history, or imply you're confused. Chronic disrespect shows up as sarcasm, insults, humiliation, or jokes targeted at individuals. Unfairness and favoritism means rules apply selectively and certain people are untouchable. Information hoarding means you're set up to fail because context is withheld. Excessive urgency as a control tool means everything is ASAP, planning is punished, and firefighting is celebrated. Ethical compromise, pressure means misleading clients, manipulating metrics, or hiding incidents. Boundary violations show up as after-hours demands, intrusive monitoring, and punishment for reasonable limits. And the final signal is cultural damage. You see the same people breaking. High turnover in specific teams, repeated burnout, quiet resignations. Remember, a stressful job can have pressure without toxicity. Toxicity shows up when pressure becomes personal threat and systemic unfairness. Now, the mirror test. Are you magnifying minor issues? Sometimes the environment isn't toxic. Your internal state is overloaded. Here are 8 signs you may be magnifying. Your stress level is global, not local. You feel irritated everywhere, including home and leisure. You interpret neutral messages as hostile, so a short Slack reply feels like disrespect. You catastrophize small feedback, so one comment becomes, "They want me out." You avoid direct clarification, so you don't ask simple questions and instead assume intention. You're in constant comparison mode, tracking who got credit, who got visibility, who's favored. Your sleep, diet, and movement are broken, so your nervous system is raw and everything feels sharper. Your identity is fused with work, so any correction feels like an attack on your worth. And the pattern doesn't repeat across time and people, it's tied to one incident, not a consistent pattern. This isn't shame, this is calibration, so you don't burn a stable role due to burnout. Now, the self-assessment checklist with scoring. Use a 0 to 3 scale for each item. 0 is not true, 1 is sometimes, 2 is often, 3 is repeatedly or strongly true. Section A is your environment toxicity score with 12 items. Retaliation risk for speaking up, blame over learning, disrespect or humiliation, moving goalposts, gaslighting or history rewriting, favoritism or uneven rules, information hoarding, constant urgency used as control, boundary violations normalized, ethical compromise pressure, chronic understaffing with denial, and high turnover or repeated burnout in the team. Your A score ranges from 0 to 36. Section B is your amplification risk score with 8 items: poor sleep or high fatigue, persistent anxiety or rumination, neutral messages feel hostile, avoiding clarification conversations, catastrophizing outcomes, low recovery outside work with no reset time, identity fused to job performance, and high irritability across life, not just work. Your B score ranges from 0 to 24. Here's the interpretation logic that's simple and useful. If your A score is 22 or higher and your B score is 12 or lower, you're likely in a toxic environment and you should prioritize exit planning. If your A score is 14 to 21 and your B score is 13 or higher, it's a mixed case. Some toxicity plus your system overloaded, so stabilize while planning exit. If your A score is 13 or lower and your B score is 13 or higher, it's likely burnout or misfit amplification. So fix recovery, boundaries, and role design first. If your A score is 13 or lower and your B score is 12 or lower, it's normal friction. So improve communication, expectations, and skill alignment. One more rule. If you see ethical pressure, retaliation, or public humiliation repeating, treat it as high risk even if your B score is high. Now, how to escape without self-sabotage. Step 1 is stop emotional leaking. Don't vent upward and don't vent in writing. Toxic systems weaponize words, so assume everything can be forwarded. Step 2 is build evidence, not stories. Keep a private log with date, event, impact, and witnesses. Save key artifacts like requirements, approvals, and decisions. The goal is not revenge. The goal is protection. Step 3 is reduce exposure. Move critical conversations to documented channels, ask for clarity in writing, use neutral language like "to confirm" and "my understanding is," and shrink your conflict surface area. Step 4 is contain your role. Create boundaries that are defensible. Define working hours, define response SLAs, define what urgent means, and ask for trade-offs. If we do X today, Y slips. Step 5 is identify your exit route type. Choose one, internal transfer. If the company is fine, but the team is toxic, external switch if politics are systemic, or a consulting or freelance bridge if you need control and cash flow. Step 6 is prepare a 30-day exit runway. Update your resume and LinkedIn narrative. Build a list of 6 to 10 target companies, start warm outreach, save 3 to 6 months of expenses if possible, and reduce dependencies by stopping invisible work that traps you. Step 7 is leave clean. In toxic settings, the win is minimal drama, clean handover, neutral references, and intact energy. Your script is simple. I'm looking for a role better aligned with my growth and delivery style. Not, this place is toxic.